Hey there folks, it's me, TheTacticalBrit, your home of breakdowns and everything in between, and, well, it's a boring time to be around, you know, middle of October, Modern Warfare's out in a few weeks, the new Battlefield Pacific DLC is out in a little while, but my god, is it so boring to be a gamer right now. I think the only thing I'm really been looking forward to is the Apex Legends Halloween event. It's a really strange time to be around because you're normally used to summer being pretty slow, but I don't remember October and November being as slow as it currently is. But today I wanted to talk about my wish list for the Pacific. Now, I imagine we're probably going to see this late October, early November, or at least the first part of it if they've decided to split it up a little bit. And I really want to talk about what I want to see from this completed DLC. And I think what the expectation is, more because rather than talking about, you know, I want to see, you know, these most amazing left, right, and center things, I think we need to just say, well, I want to see these things because I feel as though the game has been in such a way that we deserve something a little bit different and a little bit special. It's kind of got to be something relatively exceptional if we're going to get people back playing Battlefield. And I think it's something that could reinvigorate the franchise if it's done well. But it's just one of those really tricky things. And I do feel as though this is a make or break part of the game. Like, we have to say here and now that if you don't get this right, we go into Christmas, the devs go on holiday, we might not see another major update until early February. And if that is the case, then, well, the game could be as easy as cooked by then. By the way, before I continue this video, please check out my Facebook page in the description below. I've got some interesting stuff happening over there that I can't 100% reveal to you right now, but please do check it out. It's going to be really cool, and I think you guys will appreciate it. But moving on, let's talk about what we want from the Pacific here. Now, the Pacific represents an opportunity to soft reboot Battlefield 5 in a way. At least try and, you know, take some of the misconceptions about the game, take away the negativity that surrounded it, and just put it back in a really great place. Now, interestingly, the most recent patch has definitely put the game in a better position than it previously was in. I think that shows quite a lot. I see it in the games that I play. I still think performance on PC is relatively choppy, but for some unknown reason, playing on PlayStation 4 Pro felt more or less buttery smooth, so it appears that that is just a PC-only issue at the moment, and hopefully we'll see some changes there. But for the most part, provided they don't completely bottle it, I think it's safe to say that Battlefield 5 should be in a good state when it arrives, and with that, we need to see something special. So let's start with the expectation. Of course, straight off the bat, we're expecting two brand new factions in the Japanese and the United States, and with that comes a whole host of things. You know, this isn't just, you know, slap on some skins and call it a day. We really need to see these guys get a fully fledged setup in Battlefield 5. I'm talking a large number of primary weapons. I think for every single class, I'd expect at least 2 to 3 weapons per class, you know, for the Japanese and for the Americans, to really try and put them in the game in a good place. I'd expect to see a whole range of cosmetics for all of the factions. I would expect to see a whole host of vehicles as well. I want to see amphibious vehicles, I want to see planes, I want to see tanks, I want to see everything in between, and I want to see iconic weaponry. The introduction to the United States is a fantastic opportunity to bring in guns from World War II, like the M1 Grand that hasn't previously been seen in the game, as well as other various carbines and Japanese weapons as well, which are some of the more unknown elements of the game. And truth be told, I want to see scenery. Now, I think Mercury was probably the first time I thought that Battlefield 5 was capable of creating something pretty beautiful, beyond Devastation, you know. Devastation was the first map that I looked at and went, holy shit, man, this is impressive, you know, this is some good, crazy good stuff. And I feel as though that Mercury kind of did the same thing. It was a whole new color palette that I felt worked in the game incredibly well, and I think it made people feel relatively confident that we could get something impressive of that caliber in future updates. Now, the Pacific is the biggest opportunity to bring that great atmospheric warfield from Battlefield 1 into Battlefield 5 and put it in some fantastic scenery. And what we've seen from some of the teasers already looks very promising in that kind of area. You know, we want to see maps and settings that truly capture what Battlefield 5 is capable of in terms of creating a World War II environment. And the thing that springs to mind for me is Parasol Storm. Now, Parasol Storm is by no means, the standout figure of what Battlefield should be, but I think it was a great amphibious kind of map with boats and everything in between, playing a really pivotal role, and I felt like it gave infantry a great way to play too. So something along that line. You really want to get that fine line between infantry gameplay and vehicle gameplay being at a good level, whilst introducing stuff like boats and introducing vehicles that perhaps people haven't had time to get hands on with properly. So I think that's what I'm most looking forward to at the moment. And I think I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of amphibious vehicles and maybe a few boats thrown into the mix. I'd be disappointed if they wouldn't. Now, this is the thing. Everything I'm saying here sounds reasonable to you. If you're listening to this at home as a Battlefield fan, you're probably thinking, yeah, that's what I want to see, And just to add maybe a few more things, I would love to see Battlefield 5 really push and introduce a mix of new maps and old maps. Wake Island, 100% I'd love to see that in Battlefield 5. And I think that's a great way to say, hey, vets, we have a thing for you. Also, everybody else, we've got some other things too. And, we've heard rumors of stuff like Iwo Jima. That would be hitting the nail on the head for me. Now, those of you at home are watching, like I said, you're probably sitting there thinking, this guy's got it right, this is roughly what I've been expecting. This is roughly what I've wanted to see. And, that to us sounds reasonable because we haven't been developing it. My big worry about all of this is that they're not going to reach that mark. They're either not going to release enough things, they're going to, delay it, or they're just not going to have it done. There's going to be performance issues. The big list for me, really, is A, performance problems, because we can't see the game go back into a terrible state. B, there being not enough content in terms of not just maps, but also things like weapons and vehicles. Those are really important to setting a scene. And 3, and I think this is probably the biggest one, I think the big one for me is that I don't want to drip feed. I want them to release like at least 2 to 3 maps off the bat with all of the weapons and vehicles and tanks and whatnot. I don't want none of this bloody nonsense about walking around with, tides of war bullshit and everything in between. I'm sick of that shit. I'm sick of it. Everybody else is sick of it. We've had nothing meaningful to unlock in Battlefield 5 for quite a long time now. Just release it. Maybe do a challenge or 2, if that. But release the rest of it. Let us buy it. Let us use it. Let us go into it. And finally, I think this is probably a more minor one. Up your cosmetics game. This is the Pacific Theater. The home of, some of the most atmospheric and incredible events in World War II, and especially in terms of visually, both for characters and for the scenery, a great opportunity, a really great opportunity. For those of you who have watched The Pacific by Spielberg and Tom Hanks, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think the burnt cosmetics we recently saw are a great step in the right direction, and we want to see more of that kind of stuff for us to invest in the game. But anywho, that's about it from me today, folks. It's been me, TheTacticalBrit. Let me know what you're thinking in the comment section below. And please do check out that Facebook link. It'll be really important to me as an individual. And if you're interested in the channel, there's also a Discord server as well available that I would love all of you to be involved in. As always, troops, thank you for watching. And I'll see you again soon in another video.